the best work, to get the best grades, to be the most punctual, even though I always failed at that. That is how we show our care for our community. And that's like, comes from the people who people project cooning backwards onto them. But I don't know. I've never seen more cooning from the liberals. The liberals are coons too, but that's another conversation.
Yes, bad. Let me say something about the sort of animating, not animating, but the organizing principle for this strain of conservative thought. As I understand it, anybody's allowed to come up and disagree or offer nuance, as people like to say. This is how I understand it. I think they understand, like other conservatives, they understand society effectively as a marketplace. And this is where people who do a very thin and oftentimes impoverished reading of respectability politics, or what they call respectability politics, get it wrong. It's not that the people generally who come out of uplift ideology believe that if you do these things, white people or the dominant class will recognize them and reward you out of a kind of paternalistic largesse or charity or paternalism. It's not that. It's in fact in this marketplace in sort of societal interaction, much like markets, you being twice as good, you'll get the benefit regardless of what they do. That's the move many people forget. It's not like, oh, if you do this thing, these people over here are going to recognize you. Oh my God, you dress well, you're punctual. Here's your cookie and some milk before I was giving you a half a glass of water. No, what they actually believe is they understand it's a kind of marketplace. Society is a kind of marketplace. And if you put in more, you'll get out more. You get out what you put in. Stephen A. Smith on that commercial when he used to have that, which he no longer has, because he no longer has commercials like that because he makes so much money on ESPN. Does that make sense, Kimberly Foster?
Yeah.
Like this idea, like when you said punctual, it's not you need to be on time to impress white people.
No.
Or the dominant culture. It's you're on time and you perform a certain set of behaviors and present yourself in a particular way that, much like as a kind of market relation, you're going to reap more from your investment because you're investing more, regardless of what the white people do.
Oh, I hate the white proximity thing. How has that taken hold so deeply?
I don't know.
Wait, what did I miss? You guys are talking now about punctuality or something?
Sort of. Yeah, it was just like the set of behaviors that people see as, under respectability or whatever. And this is oftentimes seen as, conservative thing. And so there's this idea that when people mangle it, oh, they're trying to be like white people, or white people are going to reward them for respectability. And actually what it is, and, the most mature and thoughtful of Black conservative thought, is they understand it as a kind of sort of a market dynamic. If you invest more, you'll get out more regardless of what comes from, regardless of what the dominant culture says or does. So if you had a better product, just by sheer market dynamics, that product is going to perform better. So if your whiskey actually tasted good,
Shut the fuck up.
Your uncle would sell it, doesn't matter how near or far he is.
Not too much.
It's a good whiskey.
Well, maybe, but not always.
No. But Hurricane, you keep doing the same. You're a liberal. I'm telling you.
You right now,
there.
And nothing changes.
Oh, I see. You're telling me they're claiming. You're not stating it as.
You know what, liberal? Shut the fuck up.
Yes.
That's what they're saying.
Restating their claim.
Yes. We're trying to work through some of the ideology because for them, this respectability politics actually has nothing to do with white people. That's why it's such a. I'm glad people stop talking about respectability politics. One of the best things.
Now you don't deploy. You know what, liberal? Shut the fuck up.
Oh, it's still there. Okay. I apologize. But anyway, it's not about like, oh, you're trying to be like white people. You want to be like, no. They understand it as like a market dynamic. They believe that you have a better product. You're better at work. This is all linking up to the twice as good. if you are twice as good, you bring more value. I'm using these market metaphors because I think they're useful. That you bring more value to whatever entity you're involved in, and you'll get more out of it. Regardless of what happens. This is why Black conservatives will point to like random businessmen in the height of Jim Crow or the 1880s and say, see, if you just see how this person did. And a lot of them are doing that in good faith. Some of them are doing it in bad faith. But a lot of them are doing that in good faith because that's what animates them. But at the very least, they believe that if you strive that way, you begin to close the gap between you and the runner in lane 5. To use another metaphor, I'm now using track metaphors and market metaphors. The sports metaphors work for everything. It's you know, I just think the difference between, and see what's fascinating, because Kimberly, I was thinking what we were talking about the other day, it's fascinating because a lot of these people are still alive and they find themselves, because of partisan politics, for the most part, as like, if they're still public, like Glenn Lowry found himself having to defend Trump, or he was partially trolling too, but like they found some Trumpism and sort of MAGA ideology does not align with modern or traditional Black conservatism at all.
At all.
And it doesn't align culturally, socially, economically. It just doesn't align at all, in my mind. It's food for disagreement if they want, but it doesn't align at all. But MAGA Black conservatives, they got the power. They're the mad now dog. Shout out to Finding Forrester. So he brought these people along. And what's fascinating is some of these guys have sons and daughters, actual sons and daughters, but also intellectual legatees. And so, like, Claude Steele's son is a MAGA. Or you get a Thomas Chatterton Williams. I'm trying to understand in part, Kimberly Foster, how to understand someone like a Thomas Chatterton Williams. And they all want to do what Shelby Steele did in the 90s. They just can't do it. Anyway. We can talk about the boy if people want. I can play this video.
Because that stuff comes with responsibility. And I think that if there's anything that hopefully we can respect about the old school Black conservatives is that they weren't running away from the idea of, they weren't running away from duty the way that so many of the young Blaga are. There is a way in which, this is going to be incendiary, but so many of these young Black male MAGA, the young Black male conservatives, they are neutered. They're in crisis because they don't have direction. There's no purpose outside of individual pleasures, and yes, they have taken on that posture. Like the fish stinks from the head, or the fish rots from the head. I'm so bad at these. I'm such a Miss Malaprop. But they mirror the posture of Trump and those, decadent, indolent Trumpers at the top. But we can't do that. We can't afford to do that. So,
That's right. That's right. One thing that they have, I think, one rhetorical advantage they have over Black liberals, which Kimberly Foster and I have been talking about a lot on the app, at least. Maybe in real life, I don't really talk in real life. I'm not a white lesbian, so since we talk about Black culture, is how is the cultural angle. I don't know when black liberals, leftists, academics are going to realize it, but you cannot give the cultural discussion to the right, or what we're calling the right, or black conservatives. You cannot. And they have. And they will be increasingly more appealing to regular people. This is a very, very new phenomenon. And it is, well, and we all know where it comes from. Anybody can respond if anybody can speak if they want. The stage is open. Let me open the thing. You cannot not talk about these things. I'm sorry, you just cannot. They're going to win every time, or appeal to people every time. In a world without Jim Crow, the way people live Jim Crow, in a world without lynching, in the way people had to live with lynching, without all those sort of all-pervasive, shared forms of systematic oppression, race-based, you cannot give the conservatives culture, and they will continue to appeal to people because liberals and leftists are afraid to talk about culture. And Kimberly Foster, this is one of the areas where, again, they align with the nationalists. Black nationalists. Some black nationalists, not all. They talk about culture all the time.
May I ask, this is probably a remedial question, but I just thought about it.
Let me crash, not remedial.
Yeah, I mean, you can crash if you want. I'm working. So.
Remember last time you said the word remedial and people crashed?
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember
yes,
that.
That was so insane. But keep going.
I mean, some things are remedial. It's
I know.
Bad thing.
That's so bizarre.
You know? Okay, so tell me, and then Kimberly can weigh in. Why are black liberals, black folks on the left, so reluctant to discuss culture? Why do they run away from that?
Very, very good question. It's because they have been indoctrinated to think that even to come close to that stove is to get burnt with the taint of being a white supremacist. Burnt with the taint. These metaphors are insane. What the fuck am I saying? Burnt with the taint, that stove. To even approach talking about culture is to smell white supremacist. So to even come close to it, that the discourses are like inherently infected. This is just insane. And you know where it comes from. I'll let Kimberly Foster name it.
We all know that I blame Black Studies.
You can keep going. There's more to name.
Not too much on Black Studies.
I mean, look, I'm the biggest fan. I'll give money and whatever. But yeah, I think that it's Black Studies and that white proximity stuff. That it's almost like being desirous of white proximity gets like thrown out like it's a slur, like it's whiteness. And so we're at a point where I'm sounding like my granny. We're at a point where doing things decent and in order is desiring to be approximate with whiteness. Like, that's not...
It's insane.
I don't associate that with whiteness at all. White people are not... In fact, in my community of origin, in my upbringing, we associated whiteness with slovenly, out of order, poorly dressed, kids running up, down, around. They had to put their kids on leashes because they didn't know how to act. They didn't know how to comport themselves in the workplace. They wore flip-flops in the winter. Church was boring because they didn't have no program. That is the cultural script about whiteness that was dominant for me. And so I am always taken aback when people say that not wanting people to wear jeans to church is white supremacy. Anyways, we don't have to do that. I'm just saying it's just it's a different thing. And I'm not sure where people I do know where people pick that up, but I do think we need to let that go. Because it strikes me now as anti-Black, because it emboldens people to punch down on the old Black people who are still living, but also their ancestors. People who experience violence that we can never imagine. People use that proximity to whiteness and white supremacy stuff on them. Yeah. Anyways, that's my...
I mean, you gave some specifics. I'll extract it again to keep it at a normative level, more of a normative level, or an abstracted level at the very least. Because you don't want to trigger people when people start coming up. It's just that, and it's not just Black studies. It's the way that it's absorbed and taken up in the public sphere. That's actually where it comes from. That's the problem. Is that you get rigorous analyses in an environment, in a milieu, in a contained space, the academy, and then people, and we hear it on here all the time. People think that they have the capacity to talk about these things in a rigorous and responsible way, and instead they're not only mangling ideas, they're ruining the very thing that they think they're supposed to be espousing without knowing it. That's the problem. And so it's become to the point where you can't talk about it at all. You just can't talk about it at all. Someone wants a study on the importance of a parent being in the home. What the fuck? It's insane.
Okay, so it's not...
I'm what's
sorry.
Going on?
I'm sorry. I didn't... You took a pause.
No, that's what do you think?
So when I say Black studies, I think you're right. It is about the misappropriation of, deeply considered, thoughtful work. People pour their entire lives into combing through archives and stuff, and people just fuck it up. But I think in the last 15 years, the academics have tried to be too cool.
Of course.
And so there is y'all are fucking up ideas that you don't understand part of it, but then there's also the academics want to be all up in the Kool-Aid, they want to be all up in the videos, and maybe that's not the best place for them to be.
No. It's not. It's not only that. You know what it is too. Hold on.
Using iPhone 6s for this, so I have to update to like an iPhone.
Like they have more Black women managers now, like per capita, proportionally speaking, than would ever be represented by the population. And so I think it's fair to point out that although I agree that, you know, there needs to be a proactive solution to righting the wrongs of the past, no question about it. If it's right in our face